All right, let's watch the movie.
We were allowed to be the last to say goodbye to him. I still had optimistic thoughts. My husband, tears were streaming down his face. It's no good me showing worries because I've been bringing him up all his life not to show his fear.
At one point in the film, your mother says, Richard likes having me around. I'm not sure why. Why is it important for you to have your parents at big events like this?
I think it's important to share your life with your parents, with your family. They've given us all a lot in our life. They've given us life. And the least we can do, I think, is make sure that as they grow older, that they can share in the excitement of one's life. And so I don't think there were any events that I didn't invite them to. My dad was obviously worried. We loved each other very much, but it was enormously exciting, and I think they had some great adventures through it. Every launch was often from a different country, so we got to know Morocco really well, where we ended up buying a Casbah Tamadot there, which is now a beautiful hotel up near Marrakesh. That would never have happened if it hadn't been for the balloon trip and the time we were waiting to take off. So we had some wonderful adventures over the years, and it was great.
And were you looking to them for advice, for backstopping, or was it more, hey, would love for you to be part of this?
A bit of both. I mean, I obviously wanted them to be part of it. My father, throughout his life, I would ring to get praise if something had gone well, to get criticism if something had gone badly. And so it's always nice to have somebody like that to be able to show off to a little bit, because you can't do it with anybody else. And he was a wonderful listener. I'd left school at 15. I completely failed at school in the conventional schooling sense. And I had a lot to prove, and I suppose I've spent quite a lot of my life trying to prove things to myself, prove things to my family, prove things to my friends.
At one point in the film, there's a discussion about how much of this comes from your having dropped out of school and feeling like some of it is, I'm going to prove myself. Do you feel like you were still proving yourself?
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, I left school at 15. And I had a lot to prove, and I spent a lifetime trying to prove things to myself, and I suspect to my family and friends as well.
The first Pacific launch, which had to be scrapped, the balloon starts coming up and pieces of it are falling off. And in the film, it talks about how you might have been feeling, whether you were angry. What was going through your mind as you were watching this, and what were you thinking when you had to call it off?
Oh, there was a lot of mixed feelings going through my head. A horrible feeling that if this had happened at 30,000 feet, we would definitely have been dead. So, particularly when all the insides of the balloon started falling on the burners. The horrible feeling of knowing that there were thousands of Japanese people waiting to watch us take off, children. They'd been waiting for hours and hours in the freezing cold. The horrible feeling of knowing that the world's press had flown in to see us take off, and we were going to let all of them down as well. Disappointment, mixed feelings. But I mean, my attitude is, I will go through, momentary disappointment, but the next day is behind me.
Even in that case. This was behind you by a day later?
I mean, because there's nothing you could do about it. So
Pear went back to the factory and started firing people. There was no example of that at Virgin?
No, I mean, we're quite different personalities into things like that. I mean, as Pear mentioned, I will work very hard to make something succeed. But the moment it hasn't succeeded, I'll move onwards. And I suppose I'm fortunate. I'm not, I've got so many different ideas going on that I can come up with another idea the next day and move forward.
So Richard, thank you very much for joining us here today.